Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bocce Boys. It is second of the week. We have baseball to preview, recap, all that stuff. Unfortunate news. More football to preview for this weekend. Giant college football slate. Make sure you tune in because it all starts right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Davis, we have a lot to talk about. Let's just start with baseball. Let's get it over with. Let's get it out of the way, Davis. We have some unfortunate news. The Phillies season is over. It's dead. Rest in peace. May it never come back again. This season was tough, Davis. Tough way to end it. They lost in 4 games to the Mets. First time ever played in the playoffs, and it did not end in our way, Davis.
It did not. Look, I mean, I told you on the last podcast it felt 50-50. And obviously game 3 didn't go our way. The bats weren't hitting like they should be and what they're paid to do. And game 4 gave up the grand slam. And, I know Estevez was put into a tough situation with bases crammed, but I mean, geez, you're a top 5 payroll in the MLB, and your bats go cold for the 3rd straight year in a row. I mean, at some point, I don't want to sound like I'm, going off the rails, but this is the reason why this feels like MLB plays too long of a season, is because, look, I know you play 162 games, and I know games are important. I know it's very important, especially with the new wild cards, to get to that 86, 87 wins to hopefully get a chance to get into the playoffs. But if you go cold for 3 games in the NLDS, you're done.
Winning 95 games.
You're done. And it did not fall our way. I think that's a rule of thumb that we've seen for the last 2 years, that the best teams, the teams with the buys, have not been winning. And who knows? I'm still a proponent of saying I think the buys are a good thing. I just think it's.
Why would you not?
Yeah. I mean, you always want to be a one step closer to your end goal, but I mean, the way the Phillies played the last 2 years as the underdog and versus how they played as the favorite now. I mean, geez, our middle of the order basically, and especially the bottom of the order, really could not pick up the pieces to actually look like a playoff baseball team.
For sure, and this is definitely loser talk, but. I mean, maybe this advantage is maybe having the bye is a disadvantage because the Phillies just did not have it. And the Mets came in blaring red hot. I mean, you see the Dodgers and Padres series competitive. Same with the Royals, Yankees, same with the Tigers and Guardians. But I don't think it should be gotten rid of, but it is a disadvantage to have this bye because the Mets came in red freaking hot, dude. And at the end of the day, I hate to say it, but the better team won 100%.
Oh, 100%.
They pitch better, they hit better, they closed out games. I mean, having this time off now with these other series finishing up, I know they're probably going to play Sunday, but this might hurt the Mets because they've been literally playing since the season ended. I think they have 1 or 2 or 3 maybe off days total since then. So, credit to the Mets, good for them. I mean, it sucks to say that. I don't hate them as much as the Braves in recent years, but there's still a division rivalry, and it sucks to lose to them. But it was fun. It was fun watching the Phillies lose like that, honestly, because it's a slap in the face to the organization that something has to change. We went from World Series to NLCS Game 7 to losing to 4 games in the NLDS. That's a step down. It's a massive step down. I'm not going to be a WIP guy who comes on here who's like trade Turner, trade Casty, all that stuff, because I don't think maybe that's not the move right now. Who knows who's going to be available? I know everyone's saying the Phillies have to go after Juan Soto, which is I don't know. Emptying the bank for another guy for over $300 million. I don't think that's the option or the solution. But hey, I'm not Dave Dombrowski. Do what you want. If Middleton's going to open up the bank for you, do what you got to do.
For sure.
But there's some young guys coming up the pipeline that we should be excited about. Andrew Painter, Aiden Miller, there's a couple other guys, but I don't know. I'm not sure what exactly to be excited for like next season.
Yeah, two quick things to touch on real quick because we haven't even talked too much actually prior to the podcast. I had just told you on here I didn't watch the middle of the game, and I feel like you totally laughed at me, and I actually, and it's very, I understand. Like, trust me, I
also get why you didn't.
So I had plans. I'm in a basketball league, so I was playing in that.
Right, basketball. Yeah, come on.
But I'm not gonna lie to you. The way that game started, by the way, starting the game with leaving bases loaded for the Mets and Stranger figuring out a way how to get out of it the first 2 innings, I could not wait to turn that game off. I could not wait.
I don't know. It was definitely a red flag, but to me, I was like,
I don't want the stress. I really didn't. And look, on my way to my league game, trust me, I heard it on the radio. I heard our first run, and I was like, look, that's huge. And put my phone down. And
it was only one, just like game one. Like,
for sure. I put my phone down. I didn't worry about it. My stress levels went into a different direction personally, instead of a team that I was just rooting for. You know what I mean? There's nothing I can do for the Phillies. That's why it hurts. It hurts so much. So, I mean, in some ways, I feel like, look, I know it's the end of the year and all these guys, this is their job. It's not like they're doing this for fun. A lot of guys are, but they're not doing it for fun. They're doing it for a paycheck, just like me and you. So, look, the way some of these guys came out in the locker room and did their post-game press conferences, like Alec Boehm saying, it is what it is, cannot stand it.
It's not what it was.
I told you it sounds very corny. If they aren't playing with their hearts and seriously playing to the best of their ability, I don't want to be a fan to the best of my ability. I really don't. So I was totally all right with turning that game off. But
that's fair.
My second point with you saying the ladder down from losing the World Series to the NLCS to the NLDS, Phillies, and I'm not saying because it's very different situations. We have a lot of long-term contracts on this team. Smells exactly like what we did in 2008 and 2009. 2008, we won the World Series.
I was just saying, at least we got a win.
2009, and this is off the dome. 2009, we lost the World Series. 2010, we lost in the NLCS, the Giants. 2011, we lost the NLDS, the Cardinals, in 5 games. Yep. 2012, we were the 3 seed in the NL East, missed the playoffs. In 2013, we were the 4 seed in the NL East. 2015, we were the 5 seed in the NL East. In 2016, we were the worst record in baseball. So the downward trajectory is just insane, and that's baseball.
Come on.
Again, it's very different. We're still going to be huge favorites to make the playoffs next year, probably based on the way this team looks right now and what could be shaken up. You know, this team is only going to get better. There's no way that Dombrowski's pulling the plug. He's not going to pull the plug.
Are they only going to get better?
He is not pulling the plug on this team.
Are they only going to get better?
Roster on paper wise, absolutely. You can. He will not be selling off. The pieces he'll be selling off are Taiwan. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just like it's what can they make around the edges that's really going to make a difference. I mean, maybe you could trade Marsh, Stott, Boehm, potentially. I'm not sure who else you want to throw into that. Maybe Rojas. I think he has a lot of promise. I think this
team is going to look very similar for next year, except maybe a few more bullpen pieces and a better fifth to fourth starter. I don't think this team's going to look
change the lineup
different.
in some way. This lineup isn't flexible into, August, September, even October. And like, I thought Trey Turner was going to be this new consistent hitter that was going to keep us afloat. Like the guy that was going to hit 294, 300, and then keep us alive in the postseason too. And
that didn't happen. During the season, he did hit 290. I think he did hit 294 in the postseason, in the regular season.
It's more so like who's going to hit in the postseason that's going to like keep us alive and who's going to propel Bryce Harper. Instead, it was Bryce Harper has to create for the entire team, which, he's the leader of the team. Maybe he should, but like we need pieces around these guys to lift the power hitters who are making whatever their AAV over 50 million is.
But as well as I know that I'm not saying the playoffs are built different, but they kind of are.
No, they are different.
Look at Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge has been one of the worst postseason performers in history in the last decade. He's been awful. Mookie Betts went on a streak until the other night where he had a home run in the first inning.
Another one.
And he had another one last night, but he was on like an 0 for 22 streak. I mean, it happens. There's some
It's a different animal.
I don't know
100%
what it is, but we just need to get to that fire point. And I'm not saying that's win 100 games next year. That's where I am definitely the guy who sits down in the middle of June, the dog days of June, and watches a Phillies game. You know what I mean? Like I'm that guy, but I need to take into consideration that those games don't matter as much. It's hard to picture that in my mind, but because we watch Eagles games and every game matters. Penn State games, every single game matters. So it's very
Sixers
strange.
games matter more.
Yeah, for sure. Flyers games, 100%. They start tomorrow. So, every point matters.
Shout out the Flyers. So let me ask you this: Is Rob Thompson the manager next year?
I guess
should he be manager next year?
50-50 on this. I think no. I would say no. I don't think Rob's the manager, and I'm not saying that as a WIP psycho, saying fire everybody. I'll do all this. I do think because the way this team has looked the last 3 years has been very similar. Yeah. And the management had no problem in this series loss. I think management had some issues last year. I was not happy with certain bullpen decisions during the postseason last year against the Diamondbacks.
Everything that had to do with Craig Kimbrell, and all that stuff.
So
and this year it was just like, he lives and dies with his matchups, which you got to respect it at some point too.
Yep, but I would lean towards. I do not think Topper will be manager for opening day next year.
Yeah. I think a change is maybe necessary, but like at the same time, who can you bring in that's gonna bring the force for change? Because in baseball, it's not like these other things where you can bring in another guy. That other guy has to like completely mesh with the locker room, also be better at making certain decisions than the last guy, and like bring the culture up, which it's already pretty high. So like I'm not sure who they can bring in to revitalize that. But anything you want to comment on the rest of the MLB though?
Yeah, Tigers Guardians. They're actually in the 9th inning right now. Actually, the Guardians just won, so we're gonna see a game 5.
No. If you said the Tigers won, they won the series.
Guardians won.
Oh, I thought you just said the Tigers won.
No, sorry, maybe I did. Guardians won 5-4.
Okay, all right.
That was my pick. Was the Guardians? I thought they were gonna win this game and the last game. That did not happen. I'm still gonna go with the Guardians though. Yankees up 2-0 right now in a winner go home game for the Royals. So. We could very well now be seeing, the Yankees clinching a spot, and then Game 5 going to the Guardians in Detroit tomorrow. This Padres-Dodgers series is going to wrap up tomorrow.
What time is that game? I can't see. Is that 8?
8 o'clock Eastern time.
That's perfect.
So that's going to be a fun one. But nothing much to comment on. Congratulations to the Mets. I mean, they beat us. They beat us, man.
Yeah. Lindor should win MVP, but he probably won't because of Ohtani. So hopefully they get far enough that he can win something in the postseason. Seriously.
Yep, for sure.
He's playing his ass off. Let's get to college football, Davis. Huge week. Not to sound like Donald Trump, but it's huge. Absolutely huge. Seriously, I mean, we've already talked about this a little bit earlier this week with some of the bigger name games, but Davis was kind enough to give you the entire freaking slate on the bottom. Starting at noon all the way to, it looks like 11 o'clock Boise State Hawaii start. So there you go.
I love a good Hawaii game. A little night cap.
Don't forget they started at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time, week 0. They don't care about the times. They do what they got to do. All right, Davis. So we already talked about this a little bit this week. We talked about Texas. We talked about Ohio State, Oregon. We made some picks a little bit, but is anything changing your mind here? Are there some other games that we need to talk about? Because Tennessee, Florida, is a game we didn't talk about because this was probably going to be a much, higher touted game, but Florida is not great. But there's some other interesting games. We already talked about Wisconsin, Rutgers, but Washington and Iowa might be very interesting. South Carolina, Alabama might be very interesting. I know Bama is a must-win scenario there. Arizona, BYU could low-key be here. Seriously. Anything else pop out to you?
Yeah, I mean, other than these, I would consider them the major 6 here that are like graphically put on the screen. As a kind of bottom feeder, like what people would probably call maybe the worst game on this slate, being the Wed Wibblewabbly, Texas, Oklahoma. I mean, I think Oklahoma definitely can hold their own, but Quinn Ewers coming back this week now for Texas.
Yep.
That was just announced today.
Yep.
I think
That's
Texas is going to
Friday.
win this game, but the other kind of underdog game here would be Colorado, Kansas State. Everyone's loves Colorado, the story that they're on right now. I am going to fade them again this week. I think Kansas State beats them in Boulder. But I mean, this slate is just crazy. We're seeing,
Yeah.
I mean, I know we had it in the last podcast, and viewer Ryan Brake threw in his 6-leg parlay, which I feel like we're going to have to ride. I mean, if any other viewers have a 6-leg parlay,
I responded and told him to parlay it, so hopefully he can win big.
Yeah, give us those odds down in the
Yes,
comments,
sir.
and we'll sprinkle something on there.
Yeah,
But
text it to me, Ryan, please.
yeah, we're seeing Ole Miss at LSU. We're seeing, obviously this Penn State game going all the way across all across the country to play at 3:30 against Miller Moss.
Also, speaking of Penn State, what do you think of James Franklin bitching and moaning about having to drive to Harrisburg because the runway wasn't long enough?
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, he definitely made some good points about how
he was like, "Whoa, I know everyone has to fly across the country now, but what about us? We got to drive an extra hour."
Yeah, these are things that should have been thought about years ago when this realignment thing was happening. Like, why are we talking about this now? I mean, Penn State, we've had to go travel. We traveled to Auburn. Now I'm curious. I'm pretty sure they flew out of State College, if I remember correctly, to go to Auburn. But like, I want to hear all this now. Like, why is this getting brought up now? I mean, James Franklin, do what you want. Take that little bus drive down to H-Town. But just enjoy your flight, man. Enjoy your first class flight.
Seriously. But speaking of Penn State, this is a must-win game against USC this week. I think USC is going to be much more comfortable at home because, like we just said, that Penn State does have to fly cross country, and I don't know when they're getting in to get rid of the jet lag and all that stuff, but it will make a difference. So, but Davis, I can't help admit this game kind of stands out to me only because of the Rose Bowl 4 or 5 years ago when we lost, and that was a heater game. Saquon versus Sam Darnold. I apologize.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold was going crazy that year, which might be hard to believe if it wasn't 2024 and he was going crazy for the Vikings. But Penn State, I would love to see them go into Pasadena and get a W. Seriously, they need it. I know they got Wisconsin, I think, next week, or there's a bye in between them and Wisconsin and then Ohio State, I think. Big matchup here.
Yeah, never. I mean, this might sound really contrarian, but like USC lost last week to Minnesota. I don't like that because now USC is coming in with vengeance. Like, seriously, they really are. They've dropped down.
The season's over.
Their AP poll ranking has dropped. They're out of the top 25. They're technically 26.
It'll be their third loss. They already have 2.
Correct. So I don't like that. But I mean, if Penn State goes in there and plays their game, I mean, this is a team that we should be able to run the ball all over. I would hope and expect Nick Singleton and Katron Allen to combine for 200 rushing yards in this game, which they've done many games already. But I think this is a game. If we play our style of football, we're not a team that's going to blow people out. But if we play our style of football, I don't care if we win by 40. I don't care if we win by 4. We need to win the game and come home. And, Ohio State's the big game on the schedule. Wisconsin might seem like a trap game, but 1 week at a time, 1-0 mentality.
Yeah, I completely agree. They got to focus on the Trojans this weekend. One of the games I already mentioned, though, Arizona BYU. This is kind of huge for BYU, dude. If they lose this week, they're probably out of the Big 12 championship mix. But right now, they're firmly in it, and they look like a top 15 in the country right now. People are not talking enough about the Cougs.
Yep, I am definitely paying attention to a lot of these Big 12 teams. One of my preseason predictions and bets that I have in a lot of different small parlays is Utah to win the Big 12. Utah doesn't even play this week, and I am going to be dialed into the Big 12 because BYU is definitely a team that has cemented themselves as a potential contender in the conference. But not only that, Iowa State at West Virginia. You're going to see my pick it in the picks of the weekend.
What's West Virginia's record?
3-2, I believe.
Okay, all right. But Iowa State is ranked.
Oh, right. Iowa State's ranked, and they're
top 20.
Yeah, they're definitely top 20. I think they actually might be like top 15. They're 11.
Shout out to the Cyclones and Florida too.
big week for the Big 12 as well for some of these. I will say these minor games you're going to put on the schedule are not usually minor games. Iowa State, West Virginia is a game that usually could be a huge 3:30 kickoff on any given week, but based on, seriously being their 6 to 8 tremendous, kind of game of the year type games this week. We're seeing a lot of these games kind of get pushed aside, and I just want to say, don't forget about the rest of the slate.
Yeah, I mean, there's a really good game at every time slot. You can literally look left to right. We start the day. Where is it? Washington, Iowa, South Carolina, Alabama. Clemson plays Wake Forest, which will be a good game. But then that 3:30 slate is absolutely loaded. 8 o'clock, Ohio State and Oregon. Let's just get into that. Is your pick changing? I think you said Ohio State, right?
I had picked Oregon with the field goal, just because they were that plus 3.5.
Mind changing at all? What are we thinking? Because this is a massive, massive game.
Wait, did I pick Oregon? Yeah, I think
I think you did. I think you did actually.
I
picked Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to take the team that's just going to be the plus points here almost any given day.
Yep.
Still seeing Oregon around 3.5. So I'll take Oregon plus 3.5. But if you had to tell me who I was going to pick to win, it sounds crazy because I'm picking Oregon here. I'm going to pick Ohio State to win, though.
Yeah. So what would you say to those, though, that are saying online that if Ohio State wins and if Penn State wins out, a potential Penn State-Ohio State matchup could be number 1 versus number 2 / maybe number 3.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. I mean, if Ohio State wins this week, and yes, we beat USC and we should beat Wisconsin. We're over a 2-touchdown favorite in that game. Yes, knock on wood, please. We will absolutely be either number 2 or number 3, and Ohio State will absolutely be number 1.
Right, Nate. Is that the biggest game in Penn State recent history?
Yeah, probably. Honestly, probably. I mean, if you got to take some of those Ohio State games out because a lot of them were later in the year. But I would say when we played Iowa, when they were number 3 and we were number 4, that felt like the biggest game at that time. But we play Ohio State at home this year. That was at Iowa, a game Sean Clifford got hurt in the first quarter. We were up by 14-3, and we brought in a non-competent quarterback who couldn't throw the ball. So you never know what's going to happen in college football. But
is that Christian? What was his name?
No, it was I'm blanking on his name now, of course. He transferred to UConn. Oh my gosh. What was his name?
I don't remember his name. This is totally a thing you should know. Come on.
I know. It really is.
Because I was going to say Will Levis, but no.
No, it wasn't Will Levis.
It's not Christian.
Taquan Roberson.
Yep.
He was 7 for – so Clifford, in a quarter and a half of play, was 15 for 25 for 450 yards. Or I'm 150 yards. Taquan Roberson came in the game for the last 2.5 quarters, 7 for 24, 34 yards and 2 interceptions. Not great. Lost us that game. Lost our opportunity to make the playoff in 2022.
I do not remember that stat line being that bad.
Oh, it was bad. Crap. It was bad. Let's just get it done. That's what I'm going to say. Let's get it done.
I cannot agree more. Anything else you need to take away from this college football weekend?
No, I've got a few picks in the picks of the weekend, so I'll save some of them for them.
Love it. We'll circle back on the picks. Let's get to the NFL. We didn't miss. Something happened bright and early on, was it Wednesday morning, I guess, yesterday?
Yeah.
Tuesday
morning, actually.
Yeah, Robert Saleh, the head coach of the New York Jets, was fired in a very surprising / shocking / what the hell move. Seems like he was made by Woody Johnson. A lot of people are saying it was made by Aaron Rodgers online, making all sorts of jokes, and it certainly doesn't help that miscommunication on the hug happened like 2 weeks before that. So a very odd situation in New York, but nonetheless, the facts are the facts, and Robert Saleh is out of. Apparently, he was escorted out by security too, which is kind of wild that he didn't get the chance to talk to his team. But clearly, Woody Johnson, the former ambassador to the UK, got embarrassed in front of his friends last weekend when the Jets lost in London. And I don't think Woody was too happy about it. So new coach, Coach Ulbrich on the top right, taking over. And they have a huge Monday night game with the Bills to decide the division, sort of, in the early stages of the season.
Yeah, I think it's a great move. I don't think the way it happened was great because Johnson went behind Joe Douglas's back. Apparently, Joe Douglas had no idea that this was happening. Give
By the
or
way,
take.
Joe Douglas does have only 1 year left on like a 6-year deal, so maybe that's why.
True. Yeah, I mean, you never know, but you never really like when the owner steps in. Usually, I don't know how involved Woody Johnson is, but it smells a lot like what happened in Carolina. And
I think
picking
he got a
Bryce
lot more involved after his ambassador term ended.
for sure. But I think this is a good thing for the Jets. I really do. I think the biggest news out of all of this is that they relinquished Nathaniel Hackett's offensive play calling.
Very true.
I think
New
that is
play
a
caller.
huge deal. Because
Todd Downing is taking over his play calling duties. A lot better play caller than Driver, I will say.
Nathaniel Hackett is a bum.
DUI guy.
He is a bum. I think he
Yeah.
always was a bum. He was a bum when he was in the Denver. He was maybe one of the worst head coaches in NFL history.
Apparently, he was almost fired by Saleh before Saleh got fired. So.
Yeah. I don't know why he's around. We all know why he's around because the Rodgers effect. But I think this is actually I think this is a pretty solid slate, though. I think the Jets win the game on Monday night. Maybe we'll have a podcast on Monday to talk about it before.
Probably not in time.
We'll see. But I'm going to pick the Jets. I think this is a rebound move for them. This smells like the Phillies in 2022 firing Joe Girardi. It really does. So we'll see. But good rest of the slate. I mean, what I will say, the Niners are killing the Seahawks right now. So congratulations on that. They're up 17-0 already. 16-0. I'm sorry. I had the Seahawks plus. I didn't have it on the podcast. Seahawks plus 3.5. Still alive. You never know.
Who called it? This guy.
Mm-hmm. Good one.
This guy. I'm taking my time to glow up, but the Seahawks are definitely going to come back and win tomorrow.
No, cover.
Yeah, they're going to they'll cover. Yeah, obviously. But yeah, Niners looking good so far. But speaking of London games, like I just alluded to, another one this week. The first one's always nice. And by the way, last week was nice because it took us like right up to like 12:45, 12:50.
Love that.
Perfect. If they can end around that time every time, I would very much prefer it. But the Bears and the Jags are heading to London this week. I want to mention about the Bears. Caleb Williams getting better every week now. He really has. Maybe not looking like Jane Daniels, but he is progressing week over week. The Jaguars coming off a win here. I think the Bears might kill them, to be honest.
Yeah, this game's actually a pick 'em right now, which I think is interesting because I think a lot of people are going to be on the Bears side, but I don't know, man. This Jacksonville team, this is probably their future home. I mean, there were a lot of talks, obviously, of Jacksonville possibly leaving and going to London.
We could do a whole podcast on that because I don't know how the logistics of that would work.
For sure. That agreed. That would be a whole podcast. But this feels like it could be kind of a half home game for Jacksonville because they have a lot of support over there. I think they're starting. I know they just got their first win last week, but I think they're starting to make the right moves. They're starting to play Tank Bigsby a lot more. And Trevor Lawrence has looked better last week. I know the Colts defense isn't known. And
it was Trevor Lawrence's birthday last week. Just want to say that.
I'll take Jacksonville in this game. I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be pretty low scoring too, but I'll take Jacksonville. Why not? I'll throw a flyer out there.
This is the Bocce Boys dual game of the week, so let's keep an eye on this for when we do the preview or recap next week because I got the Bears. I love the Bears. Whatever the spread is, I'll take the Bears.
I think it's -1. So yeah,
love that. All right, we won't go through every single game, but I do want to go to this next one: Washington and Baltimore. Did not think this would be a battle of the heavyweights this early in the season, man. Not expecting that. The Commanders are 4-1, I believe. Baltimore's 3-2. Jaden Daniels looks like the MVP going against the reigning MVP, Lamar Jackson. I hope to God the Ravens win this game. I'm going to be honest with you because it's getting to the point that Jaden Daniels, like obviously he might be a problem for this season and they might win the division, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. But like this is getting to the point. This might be a problem. We might have Cam Newton in the division. We might have Cam Newton merge with Aaron Rodgers in the division kind of thing. Like, I don't like that. Like the NFC East has been very good for a long time at having very, very, very mediocre quarterbacks in this division. having an elite quarterback in this division is not what I want to see, especially when it's not on our team, Davis. I don't like it.
Agreed. I very curious to see how this game turns out. Washington's defense has not been the reason why they're 4-1, and I think the Ravens.
But they're 4-1 still, which is like how does
for sure. But I only say that because the Ravens are a team that can exploit that. I think.
Yes.
I wouldn't be shocked if Derrick Henry runs for 150 here. Seriously. But I'll take the Ravens to win this game.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be close though.
Yeah. You want to give me a pick for the Cardinals Packs?
I'm going to take the Cardinals plus the points here. I think that they're a team that's still kind of rolling, and I don't trust Jordan Love yet. He's been way too turnover prone.
Yeah, I agree. Next one, Texans, Patriots. Texans should roll here, but I just want to say Drake May is starting this weekend. So judging by the recent trend of rookie quarterbacks doing way better than they should, maybe he will play well and the Patriots will win. So I don't know. We'll see if there's any hope in New England. But the Texans are rolling right now. They're 4-1, and I kind of think that they'll kick their ass. So
yeah, I think they're going to kill him
this weekend.
I think they're going to kill him. I know recent bias shows that rookie quarterbacks have been possibly doing well, but in the longevity of things, I will almost never take a rookie quarterback in their first game. So I agree. I think the Texans win by double digits here.
I like it. Saints, Bucks. Jeez, this game is weird. Rattler's going to start. I don't know. I'm going to take the Saints.
Oof. I was going to say same thing. I can't give that logic for the first NFL start and then turn around and be like, oh, Spencer Rattler looks so good in training camp, though.
Dude, you didn't watch his preseason highlights, obviously.
I don't think the Bucks are as good as people advertise, but give me the Bucks. I don't know if this Saints team they're still not super healthy. Both these teams are not healthy, but give me the Bucks.
I like it. Birds and the Browns. I don't know. I think the Eagles should roll here.
I think they should roll. I don't think they will roll. I think the Eagles are going to play one of their classic close games.
They're going to win by a game-winning field goal.
Exactly. And you'll see why I have my pick of the weekend for this game.
I hate this. I don't like your pick of the week. It's the Browns with the spread, 8.5, I think.
9.5. Crazy.
I hate it.
Crazy. Eagles haven't won a game by more than 7 points since I was 12. It feels like.
I know it's been way too long. Ever since that Broncos game, the Super Bowl year. Seriously, the Colts Titans. Blah. This should be a disgusting game. Mason Rudolph, I think, starting against Joe Flacco. I don't know.
I
was just gonna say let's go to the next game.
Give me the under.
Yeah, seriously. The Chargers coming off a bye week against Bo Nix and the 3-2 Denver Broncos. Broncos defense is real good. I think the Broncos might win here, but I don't know. This is a battle of who's actually good.
Agreed. I would consider my NFL dog of the week. Yeah, I think I would pick the Broncos here. They're plus 3.5. Again, their defense is what I would be putting my.
Pat Surtain is so good.
Yeah, for sure. Their defense is just stellar. Justin Herbert has not looked like him, and the weapons around him. I know
he's really hurt, by the way.
Quentin Johnson has been all right, but yeah, Herbert's hurt. I'll take the Broncos here.
Yeah, I like that too. Steelers going against the Raiders. Raiders making a change. Devontae Adams is possibly on his way out. This is a classic, disgusting Steelers-Raiders game. I like the under.
Yeah, completely agree. Aiden O'Connell doesn't do it for me. I'll take the under. And I think it's I think it's one of those 36.5. It's under 40 points. So, hammer the under when it looks like the over is easy.
This is a game I actually like the over in. The Falcons and the Panthers. I think this game could be interesting, but I do like the Falcons to win here.
Completely agree. I love the way you're starting to think, Ethan. I'll take the over for sure here. The Carolina's offense.
You're incepting me, bro.
They have not looked too bad recently. And the Falcons' defense, they've been giving up a lot of points and very quickly giving up points. Over-under's 46.5 here. I'll take the over.
Yeah, I like that too. Lions and the Cowboys. Geez, this is going to be a matchup of that insane Week 17 game, the 2-point conversion, all that stuff that went awry. It should be fun. It's in Dallas. I think it's the 4:25 Tom Brady game, so this should be fun. But Cowboys need to win here. I kind of think the Cowboys might get it done. They've been losing at home in primetime spots. I know it's 4:25, but it's still sort of primetime. But I don't know. I kind of think the Cowboys might win here. Obviously, I don't want them to, but
I'm gonna take the Lions to win here.
I hope you're right.
Dallas has not done anything to really impress me at all this year.
Fair enough.
So I don't think it starts right now against a top 3 offense in the league.
No, I agree. Bengals, Giants, kind of like the Giants here. The Bengals are in desperation mode, though, and really need to win. So I think the Bengals will probably win, but the Giants are frisky as it gets. And I don't know. I can kind of smell desperation and like a sense of shame from the Bengals, too. And they might slip up. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe I'm pushing my luck.
Agreed. The Giants have been frisky. I've been saying it for the last few weeks that they've been frisky, but I'm going to go against my word here. I'm going to take the Bengals, but my true pick would be the under 47.5.
Yeah, and then I like the Jets on Monday.
Agreed. I like the Jets too. They're actually 2.5-point dogs. I'll take the Jets too.
Yeah, if you fire your coach, I'll pick you. Picks of the weekend. Davis, I don't like that you picked the Browns plus 9.5. I just want to say that. Just because we're Eagles fans, but also it's just a disgusting bet, dude. The Browns have been terrible. They can barely score 10 points, let alone cover 10 points.
The Eagles have not impressed me either, though. So
scoring.
We didn't against Tampa. We did not against Tampa.
Tampa's good.
We had 0 yards in the first quarter.
Tampa's good.
I will never bet on a team to win by 10 or more points if you can't get a single yard in a quarter.
Tampa's good.
I'll take the Browns plus 9.5. Make it a little easy. Hopefully, a little hedge to my heart.
Yes.
But I'll start. Let's go back to the top left. Let's go to the college football here for a second. Or no, well, there's only one NFL game here, so I'll take the Broncos. I already said that's probably my dog of the week. I'll take him with that plus 3. Taking a field goal with one of the best defenses in the league. Let's go to college football. Iowa State, West Virginia. Just told you Big 12 is going to be on my radar this weekend, and I'm going to take the Mountaineers plus 3.5 against Iowa State. It's one of those weird games, man, where that away team that's ranked and coming into this is a huge game for West Virginia and Iowa State. This is trap again. You know what I mean? I'm going to take West Virginia with that 3.5. I think probably one of my favorite bets, and my 2 favorite bets of the weekend are the next 2 here. Iowa against Washington. Iowa hasn't looked bad at all, and Washington's coming off a huge win against Michigan. Now Washington has to go all the way to Iowa after winning a game at home against Michigan. It's just they're pumped up. They just had their win of the year, and now they have to go to Iowa and go against this defense. I'll take Iowa minus 3 here.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I hate this pick. I like your other ones, but I don't like this one.
I'm gonna go with Iowa here.
I love your next pick, though. I will say, I'm assuming you're taking Pitt.
I am taking Pitt here with the minus 3 against Cal. Kind of a similar difference. I know they didn't win the game, but Cal was stifling against Miami on Saturday night. 10 o'clock start. They should have won. But I'm going to take Pitt. Pitt's looked like a fantastic team. This is going to be the 3rd week in a row I'm going with Pitt. I know I just started the record last week, but this will be the 3rd week in a row I go with Pitt. I'm going to keep the train rolling. And then the last college football game, LSU Ole Miss, very similar pick to the West Virginia one. I'm going to take the home team plus 3.5. It's never fun going into Death Valley. So I'll take LSU. If you're giving me a field goal and half a point there, a field goal in the hook, I'll take it in a heartbeat.
I would love this if Ole Miss hadn't lost to Kentucky. That's all I'm going to say. I really think – I just can't imagine Ole Miss having 2 losses this early in the year, because if so, Lane Kiffin is going to Gainesville. You better believe
it. We'll see 100%.
No, seriously. If this might be the game that ends his tenure at Ole Miss, we'll see.
It could, but at the same time, LSU has been a team that has not covered the spread very well this year, so I could just be biting my own tongue here, but we'll see.
No, Death Valley has aura. You're right. It definitely does, especially at night, right? 7:30. Come on, seriously. That'll be a prime time game. And then Eagles Browns. We already talked about it. If the Eagles can cover the spread, I would be so happy. 10 isn't even that much to ask for. That's an ass whooping for us. Come on.
Look, a win's a win, but it feels like the Eagles need one.
Especially to the Phillies, please.
Again, little hedge with your heart there. But look, Flyers start tomorrow. By the time this pocket comes out, it'll be today. Flyers play a game. They're They have 4 straight away games. They start in
I think all in
Vancouver.
Canada, or like one's in Seattle. I
The
think.
first 3 in Canada, and then we go to Seattle. So we're at Vancouver and then at Calgary. So hopefully the Flyers pick up at least 2 points.
2 hockey games this weekend for you.
2 points would be nice. 3 would be great, I think. So
Yes.
we'll go on our next podcast, and hopefully the Flyers are have 2 or 3 points here.
Yeah, I would love to get into the Flyers next week. RIP to the Phillies. It sucks.
Happens.
And then the Sixers are around the corner. I don't even want to talk about the Sixers until January, but we probably will. So
I saw Daryl Morey said the PG contract is already a risky move. He hasn't even played a game with us yet.
Why is our general manager saying that?
I don't know. Or maybe it was Josh Harris. I forget. One of those two.
Better our owner, the guy who's actually paying him. The guy's actually paying him.
One of those two came out and already said it was a risky move to sign him to that big of a deal.
It is risky having that much tied up annually for like 4 years to 3 guys.
Just the daily life of a Philly fan right here. Heartbreak. Maybe Penn State will do it for us.
By the way, I saw someone say that if the Phillies lost last night, which they did, that they would become the Sixers, and I kind of feel it.
Yeah, I feel it. At least the Phillies have gotten to the World Series / NLCS /
whatever. That doesn't even matter. The Sixers are edging us.
Maybe I'll change my fandom. Maybe a comment below. Which team should I follow this year? It won't be.
Yeah, give me a new NBA team, please. Yeah, give me a new NBA team. That would be fun. Go Villanova. Come on. All right. I think that is it for our time here today. Davis, great job. Great podcast. You did a great job. Phillies stink.
That happens. On the next year.
Football this weekend. Hockey coming up. We got it all coming for you. The Botch Boys are here. Like, subscribe, share with a friend. Send it to your friends and say this podcast sucks. I bet they'll watch it more likely than if you text them instead. This podcast is good.
That should be the thing of the week is send this to one friend and say, hey, this podcast sucks.
Watch how bad this podcast is. Dude, this podcast is terrible. Send it to your friend, please.
I wonder which podcast is worse, ours or the Hawk Tua podcast? I don't know. It's a
comment below and let us know. Breaking news, I just want to say, apparently the benches and the bullpens have cleared in Kansas City in the Yankees-Royals game.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Yeah, so we'll have to check that out right now. But
that sounds like a desperation move for Kansas City.
Yeah, that's probably going to be all over your timelines tomorrow. We're so late to it, but it's okay. We love you guys. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Deuces.